Hi, I'm Shannon DeVault, and I'm going to be talking about parental involvement in athletics. As a parent, I was really excited about this unit until I saw the video. I was shocked. I know parents similar to the ones in the video, but I usually don't spend much time with them. And I'm embarrassed that when it comes to parental involvement with athletics, that this is the first type of parent that the coaches and the school districts think of. But I believe what the book said. The children haven't changed. It's the parents. So when I was looking at these videos, there were 4 things that really stood out to me as key factors. The first one is that parents usually believe that their children are better athletes than they really are. The second one was how many lawsuits are being filed on an average each week in the United States. 4 in this type of situation where the parents are saying, my child didn't make the college team or didn't make the pro team because the high school coach didn't play them enough, or my child didn't make the high school team. But one thing that I was glad to hear is that judges are throwing out these cases and saying there's no real injury. And then the final thing that really stood out to me in the video was that people are looking for fame, they're looking for money, and when something goes wrong, they're looking for someone to pay for it. So I've never actually been a coach myself, but if I was to become a coach one day, there are 2 major things that I would make sure that I do after watching this video. And the first one is documentation. If I have a notebook and at the top I write the date each day, and I have a student or I have an athlete who has an injury, they hurt their ankle that day, and I just write down, Sam hurt his ankle, or John didn't hustle today like he normally does in practice, or Frankie showed poor sportsmanship when this happened. If I have a documentation of that and a parent tries to say, why didn't my child get to do this, or you did this, if you have a whole notebook with little notes like that, it's going to protect yourself and it's going to help you to have good records to look back on. The second thing that I would make sure that I do is communicate the values of the team and the school to the parents and the athletes. I think the 3 biggest things that parents are going to have conflict with the coach about is, why didn't my child make the team? Why didn't my child have enough playing time? Or accusations that their child was injured and you played them anyway. And so I would have a parent meeting up front with everything written down and communicate to the parents how players are picked on the team. I know for cross country, for track, for swimming, you can even have a time. For instance, track, long distance, boys. They have to run a mile in 5:20 or less to make the team. You have tryouts. The parents can even come if they want. If the child makes the time, they make the team, and if they don't make the team. Now for some sports that's a little bit harder. Football, soccer, basketball, you can't have that time issue to make the team or not make it. So one thing you could consider is having a team of people and you have a score sheet, and there's actual things they're looking for, and they get point values for those different things. And at the end you add it up and see who made the team. It's one idea, and if you have 4 or 5 people on that team making that decision, if a parent comes to accuse you of letting your best friend's child on the team but not theirs, and you've videotaped the tryouts, you can show the videotape, you can show the score sheets, and you can say, look, everyone who made the team had 7 out of 10 things we were looking for, your child had 5. It's another way to document your values and the decisions you made. Another thing that you can talk about is playing time. I know sometimes coaches will choose to sit out a player because they're saving them for an upcoming game, or maybe there's a few players that they want to see how far they've progressed and they already know where the other athletes are at, so they choose to play them in a game and set the others out for the long-term benefit of the team. And if you communicate that up front early to the parents and let them know that you do that sometimes, I think that will help when it comes to, why didn't my child get any play time at the last game? The final thing that I'd make sure I communicate my values is injuries. If a child gets injured in any way, they need to let the coach know. I would even have them sign a piece of paper and have the parents sign that they are responsible to let the coach know of any injuries. And you as a coach, if you document that, you will protect yourself, because you want to communicate to the parents and to the athletes that the athlete's welfare is very important to you. Finally, some suggestions that I would have for coaches who are currently coaching: document everything, just like I talked about a little bit ago. The other thing is I would get prepaid legal. I know you can get it for $25 a month, and you would have access to lawyers where you can ask questions. They could write letters for you, and if anyone ever sues you, you could actually have some hours they would give you for free to help represent you in court. I know that we do have access to lawyers through the school district, but maybe you want an extra lawyer, or maybe you want a different lawyer, and for $25 a month, you would have at least other places to go for legal advice and other things that prepaid legal offers. And then the final thing is, don't give up. I know sometimes as a coach, it gets frustrating. We don't get paid enough, and a lot of times we don't see the benefits right away. It's a long ways down the road before we see the benefits, but it is worth it. So hang in there and don't give up on these kids. Have a great night.